she trusted him until one truth changed everything. Before the story begins, take a second. If you believe honesty means more than just words, hit subscribe now. Because this story is not about lies. It's about what happens when the truth is quietly withheld. She always trusted him, not because he was perfect, but because he was consistent. He came home on time. He paid the bills. He never raised his voice, and when she asked questions, he always answered calmly. That's why it took her so long to realize something was missing. It wasn't another woman's perfume. It wasn't late nights. It wasn't secret trips. It was the way he slowly stopped sharing. At first, she told herself it was normal. Marriage changes, people change. Silence grows where excitement used to live. But silence has a sound, and she could hear it. Every night, they sat on the same couch, same distance, same routine. He laughed at things on his screen. She smiled at things she didn't understand. Whenever she asked, "What's so funny?" he'd say, "Just something from work." And that was true. He never lied. Weeks passed, then months. She stopped asking questions because she didn't want to seem insecure. She didn't want to be that wife, the one who imagines problems where there are none. But sometimes your instincts aren't insecurity, they're awareness. One evening, she asked him something simple. "Are you happy?" He didn't hesitate. "Of course I am." His answer was quick, too quick. That night, she couldn't sleep. She replayed moments in her head. Not arguments, not fights. Moments he wasn't part of anymore. She remembered how he used to tell her about his day. Now she only heard summaries, edited versions. What he didn't say started to matter more than what he did. If this kind of story feels familiar, pause for a second and subscribe. Because what happens next is why so many marriages quietly fall apart. One afternoon, she ran into an old friend at the grocery store. They talked about life, jobs, relationships. Her friend laughed and said, "Sometimes men don't cheat physically. They cheat emotionally first." The words stayed with her. That night, she didn't accuse him. She didn't raise her voice. She simply said, "Do you feel connected to me?" He looked surprised. "Of course, why wouldn't I?" Again, no lie, but also no depth. Days later, she noticed something small, something most people would ignore. He started protecting his time, not hiding it, just prioritizing it elsewhere. Long walks, extended breaks, extra focus. She asked where his head was lately. He smiled. "Just trying to improve myself." That was true too, but improvement for who? She started feeling like a background character in her own marriage. Still, she stayed quiet. Then came the moment that changed everything. It wasn't dramatic. No confrontation, no shouting, just a sentence he said casually. "I told her I'd think about it." She froze. "Told who?" she asked. He paused, just for half a second. "A colleague." He explained it away smoothly, project-related, nothing serious. And again, no lie. But something cracked. Later that night, while brushing her teeth, she looked at herself in the mirror. She realized something painful. He wasn't betraying her with actions. He was betraying her with exclusion. She wasn't part of his inner world anymore. At this point in the story, let me ask you something. Do you think emotional honesty matters as much as physical loyalty? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read every single one. Weeks passed. The distance grew heavier. She tried reconnecting, planned dinners, small surprises, shared memories. He appreciated them, but never reciprocated. One night, she asked the question she'd been avoiding. Is there someone else you talk to about things you don't tell me? He looked hurt. No, I would never do that. And that's when it hit her. He wasn't lying. He just didn't think she needed to know. In his mind, he had done nothing wrong. No rules broken, no vows violated. But marriage isn't just about loyalty. It's about access. Access to thoughts, to doubts, to emotions. She realized she no longer had that access. The next morning, she didn't cry. She didn't argue. She simply stopped trying. And he noticed. He asked what was wrong. She answered honestly for the first time. You never lied to me, but you also never let me in. That was the moment he went silent, because there was nothing he could deny. Some betrayals don't leave evidence, they leave emptiness. And emptiness is harder to fight. Months later, they sat across from each other in a quiet room, not angry, not emotional, just tired. She said, I needed a partner, not just a promise. He finally understood. Too late. Sometimes the truth doesn't destroy relationships. The absence of it does. If this story made you think, if it reminded you of someone or yourself, make sure you're subscribed, because the most dangerous lies are the ones never spoken.